So, so anyway, she talks about Dorothea Brand, and I've shared this with you guys. I haven't actually done it exactly like this. Her book is called Wake Up and Live. It's a little small, but you can download the PDF of the book, and it's wonderful. It was one of my mom's little Reader's Digest short story books. But she talks of whether you're a writer or a painter or whatever you are, we have the will to fail. We just look at things in such a way that it's a defeatist way sometimes. And we say we don't have enough time. But if you really make yourself stop and do an audit of your time, and she says in her book to plan 2 hours out of one day and try to live exactly according to that 2 hour schedule that you make for yourself. You know, you don't have to do a whole day, but just try to plan 2 hours. You know, you're going to, I'm going to eat breakfast from 7:30 to 7:45. I'm going to check the mail. I'm going to use the phone and make yourself stop it, whether you're done or not. And she said, what it will do for you is it will give you such an awareness of time and how much we waste doing little monotonous things. So that's basically what this article is talking about, is the wrong expectation of what's possible in a certain amount of time can set us up for disappointment. And, if you don't know how much time you have available, you don't plan right. You can't plan and you fall short. I don't know if you guys do this, but I do that all the time. I make unrealistic expectations of myself. And then I waste a lot of time that I'm not even aware of. So this is something I really want to try to do. So the time audit, these are the suggestions. It says for the next 24 hours, every time you change activity, write it down. Go for a walk, write it down. Check social media on your phone, write it down. Go to the restroom, write it down. And it said, begin right now. You're reading this article, write it down. So when you look at the paper tomorrow, you'll see lots of things that you do. Some of them are real tasks like grocery shopping, email, cleaning your brushes. But suddenly she says that, or he says, whoever wrote this, the difference between the story we tell ourselves that we don't have enough time versus reality that we all have 24 hours. You see that stark contrast between the time that you actually have. And then they take it further and say, classify the actions that you wrote down. And they divide it into 3 moments. Micro moments, extended periods, and planning periods. So just to kind of look at this a little bit closer, the micro moments are anything from 1 minute meditation to 10 minutes at the store. I don't know about you, but I'll never take 10 minutes at the store. Or maybe you run into a convenience store to get something. But then they break it down, 3 types of micro moments. So non-art related, like house chores, laundry, shopping. Art related, social media, email, newsletter, or shipping. Or art related micro moments, making art. Some are not making art, some are making art, which includes sketching, journaling, going to museums, visiting galleries, reading art books, researching a certain artist's body of work, even daydreaming about art. All those things count as art related micro moments. And then I love this quote by Soroya. When asked how he found enough time to make so much artwork, he said, "Gentlemen, I am painting you right now as we speak." So I love that quote. I think just always thinking about art in your mind, always looking at scenes, as you go throughout your day as potential paintings. I was at Charlotte's the other day. Is she still on here, Charlotte? Yes, she's still on here. She had done a portrait of her grandson.
I'm here.
Who is now a father, a young father.
I'm listening.
Oh my goodness, Charlotte, that portrait of Trey made me smile from ear to ear. It was just stunning. And even just looking back at some of our old work, or somebody else's work, like watching this lady paint this morning, that counts as an art related micro moment. So the next part was extended periods. How much time do you actually need to make great artwork? Do you need a full morning? Do you need a full afternoon, a full day? Maybe you need 3 days in a row. Have you ever really thought about it? How much time ideally do you need to create great artwork?
Define great.
Something you're happy with and you smile about and you're excited about doing.
A lifetime?
Oh
Come on, now that's where we got to get realistic. You know, I've never really answered that question. How much time do you need to get into a state of flow? Now that's a different thing. You might run over here and paint for a few minutes, but to be able to really give yourself time to get in that state of flow where time disappears, it says where you become one with your artwork and magic begins to happen. How long can you maintain that before you start to lose your focus? That's the trick, because I can get into that sometimes at midnight and then I start going backwards because I stay too long. I'm too tired or whatever, because it's usually nighttime when I can get to that place. It says when you think about the time you need to make great art, it's important not to confuse it with the time you would want to have. One is a requirement and one is a wish. So park aside the ideal scenario of infinite time with zero responsibilities and think carefully right now about the minimum and viable amount of time you need to have a great art making session, and then be honest with yourself. I don't know. I don't think I've ever answered that question. What is my, what do I really need? I do know that I need 2 hours. Because it takes me, I've got this down when I go work on somebody at an open studio and I try to do a portrait, it takes me 25 minutes, that first 25-minute pose, and I can get the basic drawing down. Then I have to go back and correct, and then I can start laying color on. Now that's a portrait. That's most things. So I do know I want to get that down, and then I have set goals for myself, like I want to get the canvas covered or the background and the hair done or whatever. So 2 hours is great for me. But most of the time I don't do it because I don't think I have 2 hours undistracted. Anybody else have a
I've always had a problem with time. Every time I say I'm going to write something down and I'm going to do this and do that, I never follow it. I think for years and years and years of doing everything that I do, I just can't seem to lock it in I even bought what do you call those books that you write,
planners.
Time management planners.
Mm-hmm.
I suck at them. You know what I mean? I just suck at that. I mean, I bought a real pretty little one. I said, I'm going to use it. It's still sitting there. I barely wrote in it. I don't know. I've always had a problem with time management because I was always involved with church, music, work, art, trying to do art, just a lot of things going on. And it's just, I don't know who I am, but I'm learning. I'm really trying to get this, you know what I mean? So that's my issue.
Well, and listen, I share it with you because I'll get those too. And especially I've shared with y'all before, after I go to a workshop, I'm always fired up. Or after I hear Peach talk about, she's chunking something out every day. And I get more inspired by that, and I'll start really strong and then I'll fizzle down. Let everything else crowd in. Now we've got holidays coming up and the busyness of holidays, and I always try to get some spiritual things in there as well during the holidays. I'm getting ready to teach some Christmas lessons that have to do with time and waiting, and different lessons that go around the Christmas story. I'm excited about that because I'll put together a PowerPoint with real beautiful pictures that go with it and good discussion questions to get us thinking. But for myself in painting, I have all the stuff around me. My paintbrushes are right there. There's an easel. There's my palette. There's no reason I can't do it. There's no reason except me.
Yeah.
I have to say I'm going to paint just like I'm doing right now. You guys are so important to me. Mark wasn't even up when I started this. And so Desi went in there and climbed in bed with him and got him up, and now they're outside, but I'm going to push on through it. I could do that with painting as well.
Yeah.
Let me go on with a little bit more because this is a good article. So here's why this is so critical. You are not a widget factory. I don't know what a widget factory is, but let's read on. It's not just a matter of time, but energy. It's not even just a matter of not being too tired to make great art. The quality of your energy influences the quality of the artwork you can make. The quality of your energy. Now, this is weird because I didn't see this when I read this, but everything I'm doing lately has been talking about the energy that we put out, the energy that's swirling around us. What color is that energy right now? Is it kind of gray? Is it pink? Is it, what kind of energy am I putting out? What kind of energy am I absorbing from the things around me? So I think, one of the things for me is getting good rest, eating, exercising. Those things make me feel better so that I have the energy and the motivation to do it. And I'm resistant. I just now got back to exercising in the morning. And my motivation, I broke through and I got on the treadmill, got my tennis shoes on, got on the treadmill. That day, I was pumped up all day. I went 100 miles an hour. I was clear in my head. I felt so much better. And then the next day, I'm like, oh, I want to feel good again today. So I'm getting my butt on that treadmill again. And I killed two birds with one stone. I talked to my sister. We read devotions. We pray together. We get caught up on the day. 30 minutes flies by in a heartbeat. And I'm just going 100 miles an hour. And then I'm all geared up for the day. So that is one of the main things that really helps me. So anybody else have any thoughts about that?
I wrote this down.
Push through.
Push through.
Yes.
I'm gonna put it all over. I'm gonna put it everywhere so I can see that,
Yeah.
That really stuck out to me with everything that you said. Push through.
And if I could meet with you guys every week, I might be able to keep my momentum going. Because I get pumped up after we meet together and I get motivated and I want to get it out and do it again. My sketchbooks and stuff are beside my bed. There's no reason I can't draw in the evenings. I've put a little LED light in there that just kind of covers over my bed, that I have plenty of light to do it. It doesn't wake me up. It has a little knob so I can just turn it easy. It's all about me. It's all about the decisions that I make to do it. Charlotte said, I don't know if she'd mind me saying this, but Charlotte said something to me the other day that she hasn't drawn since I quit teaching classes. And she said, I realized that she's starting to get a little shaky. And she said, it's kicking my butt that I haven't been drawing because I might get to a point where I can't. And then I will have wasted all of this time when I've just been sitting, and not doing. So, that's a motivation, but that's kind of shame a little bit, because I don't know if you guys do it, but sometimes I shame myself about, well, just get your butt in there and do it. Come on.
Is that shame or is that ass kicking?
Yeah, it is. And there's a fine line between that with just feeling, with letting the shame paralyze you.
Christy,
Yes.
one thing that's been hitting me today, because when I got up and while y'all were doing stuff, I'm doing my stretches and stuff and listening to y'all. So this is really helpful. Thank you, ladies. Needed you today. Is the mindset. It is everything, because like I'm on this journey of doing you want to say, I don't know if you want to say a weight loss. Anyway, I'm changing my lifestyle. So there's lots of changes, and even on our weekly Bible study stuff, everything's about, it seems like the underlying thing is your mindset. So this morning, my mindset was really good because guess what? I didn't even take a pinch of a donut last night. So that was woohoo, a major step. But anyway, but not just that, but it was like you said, you take time to like I would decorate a little bit outside. It made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So any type of art stuff. So I'm having to look like what you said, look at all the little stuff. Even though it's something little, it could spark a big spark.
That's right. I mean, that's right. Even the little things that we do that add up, according to how we feel. Hey, Christina, so glad you're here. Welcome.
Hi. I just saw the invite.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you did. We're just sharing some different things about time management and This article is called 7 Steps to Double Your Art Making Time. Just something I found online, and we're just kind of going down through it, reading it, discussing it a little bit. We're on this section of micro moments and what that means, and then extended periods of time. So you have little moments when you can just sit and scroll through Pinterest or look at, beautiful things, decorations for Christmas. That's creative, Christmas cards. Bridget's going to tell us about the Christmas cards she started for this year. She does one every year. But the question just posed to us was, how much time do you need to make great artwork? And be realistic with yourself. And let me share the screen again, and let's read a little bit further, and then you just jump in there if you have something to share about this, because this is how we motivate each other, is by sharing how we make this work. So it says, why is it so critical? It's not just a matter of time, but energy and how you feel and what you let around yourself. I mean, it's not saying that in the article, but I have found that to be so true. Who I spend my time with, what negative influences come in. So we must arrange our studio time for those optimal states of being. And those are calm, focused, awake, determined, inspired. Though inspired, they say, is a flaky one, but to be at your best peak energy point, focused and inspired for 3 hours. It's better to do that than to have a full day available, but exhausted due to Friday night's party. So, extended periods of time are, I would say, 2 hours or more. And you might want to have a whole day to do art and do that. That's just like a dream to me. Can I have just a whole day to do art? And you know what I'll do? I'll do different things. I'll go to the mailbox, or I'll go outside, and then I'll see something, a bed or something that needs to be weeded or something else, and I get distracted. So distraction order is a big part. The third segment of time that they talk about in this article is planning periods. And this is important. Do you guys do planning times where you plan out your projects, your time for painting? Anybody? Peach is shaking her
I
head.
get stuck in the planning time. Like, that's where I'm stuck in, and then I don't move over, into actually doing.
I would say that too, because I will do that in organizing my art stuff and getting it all situated, and then getting folders and putting all the pictures that I want to use for this particular piece. I can get stuck in that as well. And then there's a little inhibition about actually creating the art, because it's like, if you haven't started yet, you haven't failed yet. Right?
Yeah.
Well, it says in this article, without a vision of where your art practice and your art career is going, even if it's not a career, it's just the joy of doing art, you're more likely to get stuck in a rut. Take the high level view. If you continue at this rhythm on this path, where will you be 5 or 10 years from now? So that goes back to what Charlotte shared about, what if my hands start to shake? What if I can't do this? I will have so many regrets because I did not take captive the time. And then constantly reviewing your goals will give you the illusion of control. And I think that's where putting your goal up somewhere. If it's paint 2 hours a week, put it up. If it's like Peach, what is it? 10 minutes in the morning during your coffee that you sketch?
Yes, it doesn't take that much time. 10 or 15 minutes when you're just sitting there first thing in the morning, or if you're planning today, my studio looks like, don't ask. Okay,
Yeah.
What? As long as I got a bit of a clear space and my brushes are clean, I'm good. And I just say, stay out of the studio. I'm painting. Leave me alone. Turn on the music. Go. I mean, if you could see this place, you'd say, "Holy smoke!" But as long as I have a clear area,
Yes.
okay, it doesn't mean the whole place has to be clean, but I just have to have a clear area, and then I'm good. If it's all like stuff everywhere and I'm looking for stuff, no, I have to have it there, and I just grab it, lay it out, paint.
That's why I love pastel. You can just run in there. You don't have to have brushes. You don't have to clean them up afterward. You can just sit down and start painting.
That's exactly right.
I started playing around with markers and stuff, the paint markers or whatever.
Yes.
But that's real quick. And you talking about your place, Peach. This is a mess, and I only have this little small room. But I have them right on the side of my computer right now with all this stuff. And you're right, I clear out a little area and I'll start doodling. So, you know, and you inspire me, Peach. You're the one, girl.
She does
Inspire
because
me. You guys, when you're showing your work all the time, it's wonderful.
Don't feel like this is a thing. I know a lot of people say, well, you're, what do you got? I got others. Everybody on here has got challenges. Family,
yeah.
work, whatever it is, housey
Yeah.
stuff, we all got it. All right.
Mhm.
So don't say, well, you have more time than I do. Who cares?
It's not a time issue for me. I think Christy nailed it a little bit ago when she was talking about, if I haven't started it yet, I haven't screwed it up yet. I've
Yeah.
been going through a lot of self-doubt, and it keeps me from putting anything on paper. And it's
Oh.
frustrating.
Bridget, what's
Because
the
you
wor-
know what you want it to look like. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Peach. Go ahead.
what's the worst thing that can happen, Bridget?
Exactly. And I've told myself that.
Well, just do it. Do the
Just
Nike
do it.
thing.
Yeah.
Serious, because so what if you screw up a piece of paper or a piece of canvas? Paint over it, throw it away, burn it, whatever. Just do it. And I am not kidding.
Do
I
it.
know, I know.
Well, and
I'm,
how
I'm
lasting?
writing out keywords of the things that you
Keywords.
guys are saying. And it's amazing. It's even bigger now. See, I'm writing it out.
All
what you're
right, good
saying.
girl.
This
I've
is
got notes
good.
here, but I'm not taking them. Well, there's some more things I want us to see on here because there was a couple of things that were here we go. Let's see. Constantly review your goal. The illusion of control will provide you with an underlying feeling of confidence that you're not spinning your wheels in circles. Planning periods provide your inner compass with a definite direction toward your true north. And since an artist is more like an explorer in the jungle than a tourist with a map, you understand you will be off track most of the time. That's okay. Constantly correcting course and continuing to move forward is what prevents you from feeling lost, confused, and stuck. And these short-term goals, I like this because this is more realistic and doable for me. Let me move this thing out of the way so y'all can see. Task day, designate one day a week to accumulate all your chores and get them done in bulk. By limiting your interruptions, you should liberate new extended periods, surfacing at least a few hours or potentially one full day. So I think that's key. And I do that like with watering plants. Wednesday's my watering day. Wednesday water, I can remember that. So I could do that as well. Then it says be micro moments ready. Always carry your sketchbook for when inspiration strikes. Carry a camera or use your phone to capture visuals that could influence your studio work. Pack a book in your bag to avoid wasting time. Bridget and I were talking about airports the other day, and yeah, it might be wild. There might be kids screaming, but you can train yourself to just totally block all that out and just draw your foot, draw your bag sitting there on the chair, whatever. I love James, is it James Gurney? The watercolorist, Gurney Journey is his website. He has lots of watercolor sketches like that. He has one called Waiting in Airports, and it's wonderful. It's a man laid out on 3 chairs sleeping. It's a mother with their kids in all these little bags. It's just wonderful little storytelling in pictures. It says, don't let social media be your only micro moments fallback action. I get on there, I pop on there, and I look at what everybody's doing. Or I look at, I try to just go to art stuff. When I go to Instagram, I have one of my Instagram accounts that's only artists, only mostly professional artists. It's not friends. So when I go on there, I can be certain that when I scroll, I'm going to see art. And I just flip through it. If I don't like it or it's not really jumping out at me, I just go quick. But don't let that be your only fallback. And then I love this one, the 5-second no. If you are asked something, make no your default answer instead of yes. We are hardwired to please others. Sometimes it's the right thing to do, close friends and family, but oftentimes saying yes is just a distraction that will steal from you another art-making micro moment or even extended periods. So don't let people hanging. Don't leave them, I guess is what it means, when they ask you for a favor. Think no to yourself by default. Check your gut to see if the downside is serious. And then if it isn't, Let them know you can't help. You already have other commitments, and that's your studio time. Then planning, dedicate a specific half day a week to be a planning period. If you think things out on paper or by typing before you execute, you will become a lot more effective. And then it says set your frequency. You need to decide for yourself how frequently you engage in each type of art practice. You want to do your micro moments. You want to do your planning session. You want to do your, what was the other one called? Extended periods. You want to do your, you want to have that 2 hours. If 2 hours a week, what is that? How many hours are there in a week? Y'all? Peach, kick our asses. That's what you say, right?
168.
168 hours. We can't get 2? Oh
What?
my goodness, y'all.
Come on.
Come on.
Dang.
Okay. I love this last one. Your long-term vision. It's time to draw your destination. What conditions and situations do you consider enough for you to live and make your best work? Maybe you'd like to be in a hut with food served to the door, no interruptions, 7 days a week. Robert Ginn said that. He said that for most artists, we need to have a retreat where we can get away and just paint for like a month. Has anybody ever gotten to do that in this? I think those are men that say that. Men artists, but I don't think we could. But if we really wanted to, we could find a whole day to do that or something. If you can find that arrangement, you don't need to keep reading, but otherwise, we need to dive into that question. We're looking into enough so that if you took 4 hours from your weekly art practice, you would start feeling that you're being deprived of your creative potential. But if those 4 hours were added back again, you would feel, yes, I can breathe again and make great artwork with this calendar on an ongoing basis. This means figuring out your combination of art making, planning, and non-artwork tasks. So the next part of it, that is be specific. What days of the week are you going to make art? Every day, Peach says. Every day. Oh my gosh, she's our hero. Will it be mornings, afternoons, evenings, or full days? Think about that. That's a luxury. I mean, are any of us going to a 9-to-5 job every single day? Maybe Christina, are you?
I am, but I work from home, so I have like right now I have time because I'm waiting on other things, and but when I'm like, when I have time, I'll do it, and then when I do have time, I just do distractions. You know,
we do distractions. That's what we do. What time will you start and finish? Because you can give yourself that. You can give yourself the luxury of going overtime. That would be lovely. Is it going to be one session or multiple sessions with breaks in between? And sometimes that's nice to get up and eat and get away from your canvas. But you can put this down on paper, y'all. I would love to see you post your goals this week on the Facebook page. I think that would be great. How often will you go on a creative retreat and for how many days? And how frequently will you get into planning mode? When, where, and what do you do? So I think, again, these are really good questions to ask yourself. I will post these slides on the Facebook page if you want to go back and look at them again, and just give we're good at making the lists and doing it, but if you could just take 1 or 2 things away, like I want to do it. I'm going to do art 2 hours a week. That is nothing. That is nothing. That is so doable. Then what happens is, like, if you've starved for a long time and you haven't eaten and you start eating again, slowly but surely you get your appetite back. I know that's not a good illustration, but if you've starved yourself from art and you start doing it a little bit at a time, you'll be excited and you'll want to do it again.
This is this
yeah.
actually really goes along with, I don't know if you've ever read the book Atomic Habits, but I read portions of it, and he talks about being specific. And then another thing is like piggybacking on a different habit that you already have during the day. Like, it seems like Peach is already doing that with drinking coffee in the morning and doodling at the same time. So you get used to, if you already do that one thing and then you're doing the other thing at the same time, it'll help you be consistent.
That's great. That's great, because it is a habit you already have in place.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. Closer. This is Jackie. These are some of your new students and your new, tell us the name of your new studio. I'm going to pause me.
It's
Mute me.
called Clarksville Music and Arts Academy. And I've been doing it for about 6 months. So it's still a baby, but I've gained a few interesting, fun, little cute students. And that's my ribbon cutting that we had. It was a pretty good crowd that came out. It's housed inside of a church. I'm renting a little place inside of a church, but I was so inspired by who was that? Okay, let me see. It was who was it that just had the studio? Can't think of her name. The one that just Norma, yeah. I was so inspired by that because I can't wait until I get my own place, my own building, but I'm renting inside of a church. So, and it was very successful. Yeah. And that's my logo that I have on the wall. It's on the wall now. And the lady on the right is a judge. She's running for judge. So I had some pretty kind of like important people that came out that I met. That's my husband with me. And one of the girls in the military, I want to connect more with the military. So I'm going to be doing that. And we got a lot of things going down to connect with the community. But the passion of teaching little children, I have a little 6-year-old that I'm just learning. The first one that came up, she's so cute. And to see on the left there, to see those little bitty fingers touching the keyboard, and she has a passion for it, that does something to me. So I know that I'm called to spread the love of music, and I'm going to add art to it later, and all the other kind of things I'm going to be doing. This is called a musical word wall, and what I do is half of it is piano and half of it is voice, and so there's some power words that I use all the time when I'm teaching. They can always refer to the wall, even when I'm teaching piano. They can refer to the wall if they forget a note, or how many beats there are to a note or whatever. They can the kids and all of them can refer to that wall to get their answer. So I call it a musical word wall. And I had a little art one. She's not a student yet, but she does art. A little girl, she's about 10 years old, 10, 11. And she decorated the musical word wall letters for me. So I let her do that for me, so I didn't have to. So I'm including the kids and whatever I'm doing. And right here, that you see the little stuffed animals. I do that. I give it to them when they do really well. They have to show me for about 2 or 3 months, that they're consistently practicing and everything. And so I call it their little buddy, and they get to name their little buddy when they take it home. So I got one that was really excited about taking the buddy home, and it makes her practice. She puts it on the piano, and they just connect with their little buddy, and it just encourages them to practice and to bring their work back to me so I can correct it or help them further. So that's what that is. And that little sculpture is, the sculpture. That's my very first sculpture that I've done. I want to get back into sculpting paint with clay. So I put my artwork all over the walls and everything to inspire the kids who want to be artists, who want to be musicians, who want to be all those things, because I'm going to be incorporating all of that later on in this business. And so I use that to encourage them, to spur them on to practice, and it works because they get so excited to take their little friend home, So
I love that, Jackie. So excited for you. I've been following you on Facebook with a lot of this, and it's just so exciting to get to kind of go along with you in your journey. So
thank you.
Just keep going, girl. How many days a week are you teaching right now?
Well, right now, I'm gaining more students. My biggest day is on Wednesdays. And I have 3 students on Monday. Tuesday is not filled yet. Thursday I'm gonna fill it up, but Monday and Wednesday are, especially Wednesday, is more full. It's fuller, and it's usually from about 3 o'clock on, because there are students who are
school.
coming after work or after school, and then that's my busiest times. And I end about 6 right now. For now, I shut it down at 6.
To you and Norma, especially, when I first
Mhm.
started teaching, I think 96 maybe was one of my first classes. I remember my friend Kathy, who was already teaching, and I only had a few students. I think I had 3 at my kitchen table to start with.
Yes.
And she just kept saying, don't worry about it. You are going to get more students. You will grow,
Yeah.
you will grow, and just keep teaching those ones that you have. I always offer scholarships. I don't really call it
Yeah.
scholarships, but I watch for people who can't afford it.
Right.
And I have them come. And I just think, especially in a group setting, to have more people in there, the
Yep.
camaraderie and the love. And, ask them, pay what you can afford. If you
Yes.
can only afford $5, pay what you can afford. And then it's amazing how people will bring you art supplies. You'll find things at yard sales. It's just,
Oh yeah.
God carves this whole path out, and it's just beautiful the way that it works out. So
Yes.
we will
Yes.
be praying for you along the way. I'm going to, as far as I'm going to skip to normal, but we went through Norma's. Let me skip over. I've got a distraction here. Bridget, I'm going to go to yours and let you tell us about that, and I'm going to mute.
Beautiful.
There, I had to unmute myself. Yeah. Last year when I did a carved linoleum block to stamp out my Christmas cards,
Yeah.
Denise mentioned to me, she said, well, I like the way that the linoleum block is carved. That's a piece of art in and of itself. And I hadn't been able to come up with an idea for this year. And I decided I wanted to carve again. And I haven't carved in so long, wood was not going to be a player. So what I actually did was I baked a block of polymer clay, a thin sheet. It fits the size, it's fit on top of a cigar box, and baked that, and then put gesso on top of it. So I had a conflict of colors so I could see where I was carving. And so I've started carving this design. When it's done, I'm gonna do a real light roller coat of gesso on it again where the white area is. And then I'm gonna go in and hand tint it very pastel. And then I'm gonna hit it with gold leaf for like the halos and the star, and put a little bling in it too. And then I'm gonna photograph it and use that for my Christmas card. So it's my sculptural piece
That's
for this.
awesome. Wow.
That is beautiful.
Will you keep posting progress shots as you go? I
will.
would love to see those. I know it's a surprise, your card though, too, so we'll understand, but maybe once you get them done, to put it on there
I will put it. I'll keep the progress going.
for us, because I love seeing that. That's amazing. How are you using like little ceramic tools or like X-Acto type knives?
Yeah, X-Acto knife, outline it, and this is a linoleum carving tool. It has several different blades, and I'm using the tiniest one so I can get the most detail. So
that's awesome.
It carves very much like a linoleum block. I knew from some other polymer clay artists that you could carve polymer clay, so I thought, give it a try. And
wow.
It's been trial and error, but it's going really well, and I haven't screwed it up yet. The neat thing about polymer clay, though, unlike a linoleum block, if I slip and I gouge someplace where I didn't want to cut, I've ruined a linoleum block as far as printing. With this, if I cut out some part of the polymer clay that I didn't really mean to cut out, I could actually go in, replace that polymer clay, put it back in the oven, and keep going.
Wow.
Now, I had to do that, thank goodness, but that's you can bake polymer clay more than once. So
that's awesome.
Wow. Wow.
So I just keep giving myself the reassurance that in heaven, I'm going to get to try all these different things that on this earth is just not enough. I want to sculpt heads. I would love to.
Yeah.
I watched a program on Michelangelo the other day, and I mean, just floored by his sculptures.
Amazing.
They are so phenomenal. So I just feel like God's going to give us every opportunity to create in ways that we've never even imagined before. I'm gonna
I want
skip
to ask a
over.
question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jackie.
Bridget, have you thought about doing some sort of video or something on the process?
I've never set up a camera over my shoulder to do a video. I've never gotten into that. I ought to try it.
You
But I
should.
haven't. Yeah.
Because I would get it. I'm a fan too of yours.
Well, thank you. I will give that a try at some point. I promise.
Okay. All right.
I love that. Well, I'm going to jump over to Pete. She sent me several different pictures here, but this is, tell us a little bit more about this Peach Hermitage, right? Look at all these students she had. Oh my gosh.
Well, you make it, yeah, okay, so it ain't that fancy, okay? It's not.
Stop it, come on.
Like I go, oh, I'm overwhelmed with students. No, what it is, it's an opportunity for people to get out for a couple hours, zip over to the Hermitage, they buy a ticket, members, non-members, whatever. They have wine there, which they can pay for, they get water or whatever. But I provide to them a sketch on watercolor paper, usually a 9x12 or 12x9. And then I do something a lot bigger, like you can see. And they get little photographs and yada, yada, all this kind of stuff. And what I do is I demo for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I scurry around and show them stuff and teach and make sure that they know what they're doing. This is the one I did. That was a like preliminary sketch that I did from this year's. But I do this a couple of times a year. And this year I did it, in the fall, I did it by myself. And it was fun. And I think we capped it at 30. Yeah, that was enough. And when I have another teacher, we can usually get in 50, but that's too many for me.
Wow. Yeah, how do you even get around?
Huh?
How do you even get around to 50 people? I mean.
Well, not as one person, I couldn't unless I was flying my broom, because I do have a stick.
Yeah, I see Kathleen back there. That must have been
yes,
one
that was
she helped you
Kathleen.
with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now just doing it by myself, 30's enough, and they're right there and not that far away. And I just sort of zip around and help them, and it works out. The time passes quickly. Everybody leaves with a finished piece of some sort, and it's all ages, as you can see. It's usually not too much kids, but it's teenagers to, I'm in a wheelchair, and they have some. It's really cool, and different and. Husband and wife teams and stuff. It's just it's a fun afternoon or evening. And it doesn't take up too much of their time. And it's not one of those sip and stroke things where you've got somebody, I don't know, literally hanging over your shoulder and they all kind of look
exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, they don't look exactly the same, but you know what I'm saying? It allows, I think, a little more for them to be more creative. Because
do you have to know how to do watercolor to attend?
No.
Okay, because I'm not far from the Hermitage. I'd like to know the next time you have one.
Spring and fall, I always post it on Facebook. The Hermitage does too. And if I knew who the heck you were, which I don't, Christina Steve, you nameless creature, you. You. So I'll get your contact info from Christy. No, you don't have to. I give it everything. You get the watercolor brushes, the sketch, and paint, and
the ticket.
Water, of course. You need to have that with watercolor.
And she posted on Facebook usually that Past Your Creativity page, Christine, if you ever hop on there too, in case you miss it.
I put wherever I can take, but it's fun and everybody has a good time. And
so Peach, do you go around and divvy the paint on their palette?
No. No, it's watercolor. Okay, so what I do is I take 10-inch styrofoam plates. This is a limited palette. Okay, when I say limited, they get more than one color, but maybe have 5 colors max. Like a red, yellow, blue, burnt sienna, and then something else.
Got it.
And put it on these plates, and it dries there. And they have see the spray bottles, and you can't see what I'm
I
see
it.
So I have them activate the paint. So they each have their own palette, their own mixing area, their own little thing to paint on, their own brushes. They're not great brushes, but they work. And I used to give all kinds of different brushes. Forget that. They get a round and they get a flat, bump, and a rigger. That's all they do.
Okay.
So having done it for a while, it made it easier for me to figure that out.
Mhm.
Limited palette works great because I just show them how to mix stuff and they like it.
Nice,
They seem
nice.
to like it. They didn't hit me or anything. Yeah,
Fun.
it's
I
fun.
love it. It is. I've done a few of those and they are a lot of fun. Mine were church things. I did one with 40 people one time. But really your preparation is really important. Make sure everything's out, ready to go, paper towels, whatever you need.
Yep.
These are a few Peaches. Peach, this one won. Tell us about
I
this one.
love
This
this.
is so goofy. I put it, there's a thing called, I'll have to send you the link because it's so cool. It's only $10 to enter. It's Art International yada yada show, but they do different, like they have abstracts and they have portraits and
beautiful.
landscapes. You can just enter a piece or whatever, and who knows? You might win something. And they post it. I mean, it's like everywhere. So plus I got money, not a lot, but I got money. And it's legit because I checked it before I did it because there's scammy stuff out there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Surprise the heck out
Peach,
of
that abstract, I'm sorry, that abstract, did you do a peach tone underpainting on that?
No,
Okay.
it's just layer upon layer. I
There's
didn't.
a lot of warmth in it for that blue color. I'm really impressed.
Well, oh, thank you. Well, obviously the corally stuff is on there first, not all over, but in one area it's layered on kind of. Because when I abstract these stuff, I layer like a fool, and it was fun. But
Is that
You do cool
watercolor?
well.
oh no,
That's
it's acrylic.
watercolor, right?
It's acrylic.
Acrylic, okay.
Yeah, I do watercolors, acrylics, and water soluble oils, and that kind of stuff. And
Okay.
okay, those are both each one. Tigger, I did so the little trogs wouldn't take all the candy, and I put he's big, he's not huge, but I don't know 30 by I don't know 15, and I put him on the front door. He's there now, and said only take one piece of candy. The cat is watching. Really did that in like 10 minutes. And the one next to it, I did just to do something from a vase of flowers I have. And that was, I don't know, 15 minutes. The point is, you don't need a lot of time, especially with watercolor, to slap something down.
Nice.
So just,
Very
and
nice.
they're both big. I mean, they're biggish.
Mm-hmm.
Biggish. I love that.
Yeah.
And then I love this one. Have you sold prints of this one? This
Love
is the
this.
I
Nashville.
never sell prints until after the original is sold.
Mm.
That one is going into Jerry's Artorama People's Choice Award show with the Tennessee Art.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very
So
nice.
vote for me, honey.
Oh.
Well, and I have you guys send me pictures if you want me to share them. I know you can share them too if anybody has anything you're working on. I have a few things I was going to show you. I had these two metal frames I got at Goodwill
Oh, those are
a year or so ago. I don't know what size they are. I don't know, but they're not real big, but they're like 20 by 18 or some odd size. So I have these pictures and I'm just painting for myself right now. So I have these pictures of my granddaughter. This was actually a video. I posted this before and some of you saw it on Facebook. I did the sketch. You can see my different phases of her. They look horrible. Her face looks horrible. It's not her. But the goal is to get the simple shapes down and the gist of the drawing down. The board I'm painting on is actually, the back of it is got flowers on it. Well, you can't see it. I just zensored over whatever was in this. It had some kind of flowers on it. And it looked like some kind of, what do you call it? MDF board or something. And so I did a grisaille. Her head is so big. It looks really awkward, but she is so tiny. She still weighs 29 pounds. She's been weighing 29 pounds for over a year. She's just a little tiny body. And so these are just some progression pictures. You guys gave me input along the way. I'll tell you what I really like about the painting, and it's Woo Woo, her little husky dog. I nailed Woo Woo. It is so good. And I have it hanging up in here. I'm done with it. I'm not done with it. Her head still bothers me that it's so large, but I'm going to tell you at night, the light's on it right now. It absolutely looks like you can step into it. The light is phenomenal. And it's because I glazed it, I guess. Part of it's because I glazed it. But I'm still not pleased. I have it looking like her, but her head is too big. So that's my challenge. It will always be my challenge.
Mary tells me all kids' heads are enormous. They're supposed to be like that.
They really are.
That
They
kid,
really are.
that kid looks like the little kid that's running around in your studio all the time.
It's her. It's her.
Yes.
I really, I'm doing, this was in my hall there, and I wanted to create, because there's nothing in this old 150-year-old house. There's no history. We were having trouble finding history on it. And I wanted to do some paintings that show the interior of the house, just even though it's not where I grew up or anything. So I do have that hanging up. This is somebody else's painting on the left. Kim Cogan, I think is her name. And I just wanted to paint something for my bathroom. And so you're not really supposed to do this. I would never sell this, but I really liked it. And I don't have anything on my bathroom wall. The tile is too pink. And I have since then, I have it hanging in the bathroom, and I go in there and paint on it. So I took Viridian and I scumbled Viridian all over this bathtub. So I have a cooler, lighter tone on the bathtub. I'm going to scumble the bathroom tiles. Our bathroom that we lived in for 36 years was pink tiles. And so that's the other thing that drew me to it. But I'm going to scumble a lighter pink over that as well. And then the only other thing I've been working on is this painting. And it's also a copy of another painter, Jeffrey. I can't think of his name. But it's just for me in my laundry room, and it's awkward.
Why?
Sorry about all the noise. I did. Good job. Beautiful. Blue. Pretty. This is Desi, and this is supposed to be me. I just changed it up from the other person's painting, and it's hanging in my laundry room. That's you. And it's very awkward. The head doesn't really sit on there right. It feels awkward to me, but it's hanging in there, and I may or may not get back to it. Jeffrey Larson was his name.
Nice.
I know it doesn't. She said that doesn't look like you or me. So that's my critique from the 4-year-old. This is my classroom at school. I just wanted to briefly show you. This is what I've been covering, the elements of art: line, shape, value, form, and we're on texture right now. And we're covering different things. October, we did spheres for pumpkins. November, we're doing birds, and they're going to end up with a turkey. And then December, we're doing trees, and I have a lot of activities for them. My grandson is in there. That's why I'm teaching again. And these are my high school boys. You can see this little head of this fella. Let me move my thing over. Blake. He had neuroblastoma, cancer, has had a stroke, has hearing aids. Yes, it's Dalen. Be quiet, please. These boys, none of them are particularly interested in art, but I cannot tell you how wonderful they're doing. And it's such an answered prayer. This boy here is so smart. He's learning coding and computer stuff, and they are doing so well. And I scrolled through their sketchbooks the other day and did some videos, and it is just, I mean, I just keep telling them, this is a time when you can relax your brain. You're not having to think about trigonometry. You're not having to think about anything else, what's going on at home, or, how, whether you shaved today or whether you remembered your deodorant or anything, as a teenage boy has to remember. We did leaves. We did leaves on a couple weeks ago, where I just brought a bunch of leaves in, and we did watercolor, and they did a beautiful, I have them hanging up on the wall. And then these are some of my little ones. And you see, I have mostly boys. I only have a few girls. But I want to tell you, it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding. And I did not want to go back to teaching. I was dreading it. I tell you, I was just dreading it. And this is my shelf. I have 2 big shelves at the end. And when I went in there, I reorganized everything, because I cannot go in there with a bunch of kids being noisy all day and have a big mess of supplies. So I've got everything labeled in there, and I spent a lot of time on that. This season I'm in, and I go back to this, whatever God calls me to, he equips me for.
Right.
And I cannot wait to get to school. I do Zoom classes on Monday and Wednesday for like 2 hours. And then I run in and I teach the little pre-Ks. And then I teach on Fridays for about 3 hours, but I stay all day. I drop Devin off and I'm not going to leave. I stay for their chapel. It's always wonderful. The people that work there are wonderful. So I'm excited about what I'm doing again, and I'm thankful to be doing it. I miss my adult classes, and I will get back to that.
Beautiful.
But right now, these kids are flourishing there, and Devin's not having to go to Hunter's Lane where there's fights every single day.
Yeah.
And I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So there's a lot of comfort and confidence in doing what you know that God's carved out for you to do.
Right.
So I so appreciate y'all's patience with me with trying to throw in these Zoom sessions. I love being with y'all, and I never want to stop doing it. So I'll try to at least do it once a month. I know. I guess she's raising her hand. I don't really know. I know. Any other thoughts? I know Carla's been working on stuff. Carla's had a lot of stuff going on with family and health, and Christina or Carla or anybody else want to share anything you've been working on or any?
First of all, I want to say I knew that was you in that painting.
Me?
Yeah, you could tell it was you.
With my head all turned.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But go ahead, Christine, you talk first. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you go ahead. Well, I've shared on Facebook, like I've been doing this watercolor workbook because I'm like super beginner. But like this is the newest one I've been working on, which it's supposed to be like that, like freeform, but I'm having a lot of fun just doing each particular little leaf and just like kind of going to town all in there. So, but I haven't finished it yet. But this book is actually super awesome because little segments help me to get in there and like start painting and doing stuff because it's really getting started is my biggest problem. So it's it's actually like a God thing that I popped in today because I'm like, this topic has really been on my heart for weeks. So
I love that. That's amazing. And is it a workbook that you actually paint in?
Yeah,
You're painting in the workbook.
Yeah, it's watercolor paper, so it's like super thick, and they're all like different little pages of.
Where'd you get it?
It's on Amazon, but there's also like thrift books that you can get things for super cheap. So I think I may have gotten it from there. But
that's awesome. I think no matter what you can do, just pick up whatever you can do, whatever's manageable for you, whatever works for you to just keep pushing yourself forward with your creativity. And honestly, y'all, it makes us much nicer to live with. We spend the most time with ourselves, right? So it's nicer for us if we're happy and contented, and we are taking care of ourselves somewhat when there's other obstacles. This won't last forever. This season will pass, and it's important that I make it work. But it's also important for me to create, and it is for each of us. And Norma, you'll get real busy with teaching. Jackie, you too. It's going to be a challenge for you to do your own thing. So doing demos helps with that because then you're making yourself paint. And so just, try to carve some time out for yourself on that as well. So I have loved being with you guys. Thank you.